Good evening, esteemed colleagues, students, friends, families. Welcome to the 2022 UNC Greensboro Phi Kappa Phi initiation. My name is Greg Bell, and I serve as president of the UNCG chapter of the Honor Society of Phi Kappa Phi. With me today, representing our chapter leadership, are Dean Omar Ali, Dr. Angela Bolte, Dr. Brad Johnson, Mr. Neil Pritchard, Mr. Duncan Lauer, and Eric Toller is our technical coordinator. We're also joined by several additional members of the executive board: Dean Shireen Obear, Dr. Juliet Bianco, Dr. Rebecca Moich, Professor Jonathan Zarecki, Professor Julia Mendez-Smith, Professor Jane He, Professor Hewan Gurma, and Professor Andrea Hunter. Thank you all for stepping into this leadership role of Phi Kappa Phi. Today, we celebrate excellence. Although we can't be together, we gather here virtually to initiate worthy individuals into the Honor Society of Phi Kappa Phi. These initiates have been chosen on the basis of their superior scholarship, and we're pleased and proud that each has chosen to become part of a century-old community of scholars and professionals that includes individuals who have distinguished themselves in positions of leadership and whose careers have been characterized by achievement. Our members have served in the White House, the Congress, the Supreme Court of the United States. They've won Nobel Prizes, Pulitzer Prizes, and numerous other national and international awards for service and achievement in their chosen fields. Phi Kappa Phi is proud to include among its membership thousands of individuals who, for more than a century, have sought to make a difference in the communities where they live and work. The Society's values are conveyed in its motto, "Let the love of learning rule humanity." Our mission also clearly states who we are and what we do: to recognize and promote academic excellence in all fields of higher education and to engage the community of scholars in service to others. Phi Kappa Phi's standards are unsurpassed and second to none. We seek to reward excellence wherever it can be identified in any institution that has a chapter of the Society. By virtue of its interdisciplinary nature, Phi Kappa Phi elects its membership from all academic fields within the university. The president-elect of the UNC Greensboro chapter of Phi Kappa Phi, Dean Omar Ali, will now introduce our speaker, Provost Debbie Storrs. Omar.
Thank you, Dr. Bell. Today's keynote address will be offered by the university's Provost and Executive Vice Chancellor, Dr. Debbie Storrs, a champion of excellence and access in higher education for all students. Provost Storrs.
Thank you, Omar and Greg and our faculty and student guests. I am honored and humbled to say a few words of welcome for tonight's Phi Kappa Phi initiation. You know, as Dr. Bell noted, tonight you are joining such an elite group of individuals across the nation and approximately over 500 UNCG students who are members of Phi Kappa Phi, individuals like yourselves who have distinguished themselves in terms of their learning and their accomplishments. And as Dr. Bell noted, joining former presidents and presidential nominees, legislators, authors, poets, artists, scientists. I mean, this is an elite group to join. It's truly an honor to be invited to join PKP. It is the oldest and most selective multidisciplinary collegiate honor society. I want to speak for a few minutes about the motto, "Let the love of learning rule humanity." I've been thinking a lot about that motto in light of the many crises across the nation and the world, including what's occurring today in the Ukraine. And I've been wondering, what would the world look like if the love of learning actually ruled humanity? It made me pause and think, what does rule us if not the love of learning? You know, I'm a sociologist by training, that's my discipline. And so I think I could easily posit, as you could, kind of an economic political analysis about how the global economy rules us. Certainly, our global capitalist economic system designed to ensure wealth inequalities, competition, and intended unequal outcomes rules humanities with very significant consequences, including where you go to school, what kind of healthcare you have, what you eat, where you live, and literally how long you will live. I could also posit, as a sociologist, a social cultural analysis about how cultures and identities rule us and rule humanity. The culture wars that play on our need for individual and group membership and identities, the fears and the different access to power that groups have, shapes values and decisions and behavior. It rules us, and it creates this very unnecessary conflict, racism, sexism, homophobia, violence, murder. So it's true that both a political, economic, and a social cultural context rules humanity. But luckily, it's also the case that there are more noble things that rule humanity, including education. And for that reason, I am so grateful to be here at UNCG and to be part of higher education. Because what rules us is the pursuit of learning, our pursuit of knowledge, to improve communities' lives. Our whole purpose for existence is to enhance students' learning. We cultivate it, we nurture it, we reward it, and tonight we celebrate it. I'm embarrassed to tell you the first time I became conscious of my own learning. It wasn't until I was an undergraduate student. I was assigned to read a talk given by author and poet Adrienne Rich. It was a talk she gave at a convocation at Douglas College, which is a residential women's college within Rutgers University in the late 70s, where she encouraged her students to, quote, claim an education. And she told the students that, quote, you cannot afford to think of being here to receive an education. You will do much better to think of yourselves as being here to claim one, end of quote. And then in the essay, she goes on to explain what the verb to claim means, to take as a rightful owner. And I remember reading this when I was an undergraduate. I was so moved by it because I realized I had not claimed my education, but instead I had been kind of complacent. I'd unquestioning accepted receiving an education. And it's not surprising, many students are like me, students who grow up in poor neighborhoods or brown and Black communities, schools where there's a hidden curriculum that encourages students to be passive, to receive, to be receptacles, to accept what's authoritative or true. So what does it mean to claim one's education or to let the love of learning rule our lives? According to Adrienne Rich, it means you have to reject being acted upon. You have to start seeing yourself as the actor. You have to refuse to allow other people do your thinking, your talking, your naming. It means you respect yourself and you use your brain. You engage in the hard work of learning. You do not fall victim to easy solutions, ideas. You reject taking the easy course, skimming by, or taking the easy route. And in so many ways, what Adrienne Rich was talking about is what Phi Kappa Phi's motto emphasizes, a humanity ruled by the love of learning. And both students and faculty have a responsibility to enact that love of learning. So here's a question for you. What do students look like when they're ruled by the love of learning? Here's what I think they look like. They ask a lot of questions. They read voraciously. They talk about what they're reading. They listen to multiple points of view, they contemplate, they evaluate, and they come to conclusions based on evidence and critical reasoning. These are not students who haggle with their faculty over a few points on an exam. These are students who care more about the big questions, the why, and the process of learning. I think it's also fair to ask, what do institutions look like that are ruled by the love of learning? It's an institution like UNCG, comprised of incredible teacher scholars who commit their whole professional careers and go beyond what is expected to support our students' learning and their achievement. It's about an institution that has an incredibly thoughtful curriculum, including our gen ed curriculum, that provides students an ability to understand who they are, their world, how to learn, an opportunity to grow intellectually and morally, how to see themselves as part of a bigger historical and cultural context. It's also an institution that has a PKP chapter, an honor society that values learning and has an honor code that initiates and members agree to let the love of learning guide their life. So tonight, you've been invited to join a prestigious entity because of your accomplishments. And don't forget, ultimately, your membership is an agreement to hold true to the love of learning and to claim your education. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Provost Storrs. Thank you for your insightful and uplifting comments, truly. The bylaws of the UNC Greensboro chapter of Phi Kappa Phi, operating within the framework of the Society's bylaws, specify certain conditions to be observed in electing persons to membership. These conditions are summarized as follows. Senior undergraduates shall be in the upper 10% of their class in each college or division. Juniors are drawn from the upper 7.5% of their class. Graduate and professional students who have completed 1 full year of study and are in the upper 10% of all candidates for graduate or professional degrees also are eligible for membership. Faculty, administrators, professional staff, and alumni who have achieved scholarly distinction also qualify for membership. Chapter officers Dr. Angela Bolte and Dr. Brad Johnson will now continue. Dr. Bolte.
Thank you, Dean Ali. It is fitting that candidates about to be initiated into Phi Kappa Phi know certain facts about the society. In 1897, Marcus L. Uran, a student at Maine State College, now the University of Maine, proposed to his professors an honor society built upon a broader base and with wider purpose than any in existence at the time. At the request of college president Abram Harris, Uran drafted a constitution and a set of bylaws for such an organization. Uran and Harris, assisted by interested professors, succeeded in organizing the Lambda Sigma Eta Society, an academic honor society open to superior students regardless of academic discipline. 10 students were elected to membership that first year. After Uran's graduation, President Harris assumed the responsibility for promoting the society. In 1900, with strong support from the presidents of the University of Maine, Pennsylvania State College, now Penn State University, and the University of Tennessee, the society became a national organization. In the same year, the society was renamed Phi Kappa Phi from the initials of 3 Greek words of its adopted motto. Today, there are more than 300 chapters of Phi Kappa Phi, ranging from Maine to the Philippines and from Alaska to Puerto Rico. Now to Dr. Johnson.
The badge of the society is a globe against the background of the sun, whose rays form an expansive corona and radiate in a number of symmetrical and equal concentrations from behind the globe. These signify equivalence among the various branches of learning and represent dissemination of truth as light. Encircling the globe is a band containing the Greek letters Phi Kappa Phi. It symbolizes a fraternal bond which girds the earth and binds the lovers of wisdom in a common purpose. The seal of the society features the badge at its center. The badge is surrounded by a crenellated line that represents the battlements and walls of Troy. In the space between this line and the periphery of the seal, there appears 3 stars just above the badge, 1 for each of the original 3 chapters. Below the badge is the phrase, founded 1897. The ribbon of the society is a meander pattern that is common in Greek art and symbolizes the classical features of the society. And now for our undergraduate student officer, Duncan Lauer.
The first word of the Phi Kappa Phi motto is philosophia. For historical reasons, the society translates this Greek word as the love of learning. The second word of the motto is kriteto, a verb meaning to rule. In our motto, the word has the form of strong exhortation that calls upon us to let the love of learning rule. The last word of the motto is photon. This word occurs in ancient Greek poetry and drama with reference to mortals in contrast to immortal gods. In our motto, it refers to all individuals, so we translate it to the word humanity. Thus, in saying the phrase Phi Kappa Phi motto, philosophia, kriteto, photon, you are calling on yourself and others to have your lives ruled by the love of learning. And now for our graduate student officer, Neil Pritchard.
As initiates, you receive a certificate of membership, as well as an emblem in the form of a pin. Each of you will receive a subscription to the Society's publication, the Phi Kappa Phi Forum magazine, along with access to a variety of benefits and services designed to assist you throughout your academic and professional life. And as a society member, you will be eligible to compete for numerous scholarships and awards valued at nearly $1 million each year. Let me remind you that once initiated into this society, each of you will always be a member of Phi Kappa Phi. To be classified as an active member, however, and to continue to receive many benefits, you will need to pay national dues annually. You are urged to maintain active membership, not only as a means of personal fulfillment, but also as a way of helping to sustain the prestige and to support the activities of your honor society. We also sincerely hope that you will support your local chapter of Phi Kappa Phi at UNCG.
Now, where you are, please repeat the Society's affirmation of membership. In response to the honor bestowed upon me by my election to Phi Kappa Phi, I shall continue to uphold the motto of Phi Kappa Phi: let the love of learning rule humanity. Now back to Dr. Ali.
Thank you. We now confer upon each of you the membership in Phi Kappa Phi to which you have been elected, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereunto. Join me in celebrating our newest members of Phi Kappa Phi here at UNC Greensboro. We'll go through the slides and you'll see your names appear. By virtue of your superior scholarship, by virtue of what you have achieved and who you are, a combination of qualities that led to your election by this chapter of the Society, it is now my privilege, it is now my privilege, if I can get this chat out of the way, to declare you to be members in good standing of the Honor Society of Phi Kappa Phi. May you continue to merit this high honor, never complacent, ever seeking the realization of the Society's motto, let the love of learning rule humanity. Congratulations to all of you. With that, Dr. Bell, is there any final thought you'd like to offer to close us for tonight?
Just thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all for being a part of Phi Kappa Phi. We're very proud that you have decided to join us and wish you a pleasant evening.
Take care, everybody.